We in the building, man.
Yeah, we in
Episode
the building,
31.
man.
You know what I mean? Two
Yeah,
cents and
man.
change the podcast, man.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
back, baby. We back. What up, bro?
Yo, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling, man. You know what I'm
Everything
saying?
good. Yo, we had a great episode last week, the Halloween episode. You know, we still got some more clips to put out from that. There's a lot of
Yeah,
dope clips, man. So shout out to everybody who celebrated Halloween, who had a very happy Halloween. You know, for those who
yeah.
don't celebrate it, shout out to y'all as well. But we at episode 31, man, 2 cents and change. The podcast. It is your boy, C. McClay.
It's your boy Melly Mel, man. The golden one.
Hi,
We here,
Moomy. My
man.
daughter's on there watching us right now. Hi, Moomy.
Yeah, Leia, what's up, man? What's up, man? Hope you're being a good girl, man. All right?
Shout out to my Moomy, Alea. His
Yeah,
niece,
my
my
niece,
daughter. Yeah.
you know? Yeah, man.
We
For
got a lot to
sure.
talk about, man. We got a great episode, man, for y'all today, man. Shout out to all our people that follows us on TikTok. We love you guys on TikTok. We are finally on Facebook. So shout out to
Yeah.
everybody that been all the new people that been watching us and everything on Facebook. We appreciate you guys, man. And you know what it is, man. 2 cents and change the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, man. Yo, matter of fact, hold on, man. I gotta say, hold on. Shout out. I was watching something earlier. Shout out to that once again to No Limit holding it down. That Snoop Dogg. Remember
Oh,
No Limit had
okay.
the L cases,
Okay,
the
yeah.
jewel cases. Yo, matter of fact, shout out to the GOAT. This is the GOAT, y'all. Silk the Shocker, the GOAT. The shout out to the GOAT, man. Yo, Turner had me dying, bro. Yo, he had me. You would have on the floor dying. I tell you, you watched the verses. He was like, yo. He was like, yeah, but then he was like, yo. Silk the Shocker was on. He was out of pocket. He's like, yo, his girl turned the trick. He said he was out of pocket. Yo, I was like, yo, he had me dying. But nah. I just want to, highlight them cases, man. I got the
Okay.
little hip hop collectibles and all that. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Absolutely.
man. Episode 31, man. We here.
Uh-huh.
It was a nice, well, something that wasn't on the list, but I said let me throw it out there, man. Yo, what's really good with your boy Tank Davis, man? He's ruining his career. You're ruining this shit. Yo, first of all, you didn't fight Shakur. You didn't do the rematch. You take this for the bread. Everybody said came to grips with it. All right, it's after the bread. Cool. Now some more like domestic violence stuff. Like Tank, it's not a good look, man. And it's like for real, as a man, like I don't give a fuck how nice your hand and all that. Niggas is not respecting that. Like it's one thing when it's like it happened one time, but every time we turn our head, there's something going on with a girl and you hitting them or this or that. It's nah, that's weak. That's not real men. I don't give a fuck how nice your hands is and all of that. Nah.
Right. And one of the most disturbing things about this is he's a professional boxer. So your hands
Yeah.
are some will say legally are used as weapons.
No, they are.
Yeah.
Not some, they are.
So it's like, I don't know if he hit her or pushed her or what have you, but any domestic violence against somebody who's in a combat sport looks bad on you,
Um,
and then people put all this time and money into the hype of this fight, into the buildup of this fight. The
yeah.
guys that was on the undercard of this fight who was anticipating this for a payday, it just all went out the window because of Tank can't control his anger. Because this is not the first time he had domestic violence allegations against him. You know what I mean? So
Nah.
the man just can't seem to keep his hands to himself, and it is costing his boxing career.
Yeah, man, it's not good, man. It's not a
Yeah,
good look, yo.
you know.
Eh?
So
But
yeah, man.
that fight's canceled. It was a doo-doo fight anyway.
Yeah, it was a
But,
doodle fight anyway.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, I guess as they say, right? Things happen as they may. Because that's
Hmm.
what you get for not doing them rematches, man.
Mm-hmm.
The
Right.
rematch of fighting
Against real
Shakur.
boxers.
Yeah, like come on, man. How you
Right.
fighting? I mean, I don't even want to spend too much time, but it just popped up, so I said, let me just throw that in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But Tank, get your
Right.
mind right, man. You're one of the biggest stars in boxing, and then if you got you a steady woman or something, just stick with her, man, or whatever. So I'm getting yourself in trouble, yo. Hold
Right.
up, man. You
Facts
dig?
of life. Facts
You know
of
what I
life.
mean? But yo, man, let's start off with some football, man. Uh,
Okay.
the Bills, the win over the Chiefs, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, listen, man, you could, and I will be 100%. Everybody know I'm a Ravens fan. Lamar Jackson, we the best, man. But considering that, that's why I had to preface it before with that. Before I say what I say, I'm sick of the whole Josh Allen. Okay, he beat the Chiefs in the regular season. This shit doesn't matter, man. You gotta beat him in the fucking playoffs, man. Because like no matter what, oh yo, they want to. I feel like okay, yo, he had a good game against the Chiefs, but they still lost. I mean, and you people want to put him on a pedestal. No, you lost. The same way Lamar Jackson lost, you lost. None of this shit matters. Eliminate Patrick Mahomes from the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's because at this stage you could beat him. Lamar beat him in the regular season. This
Mm-hmm.
this regular season stuff don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like it's nothing to really react to. It's like, all right, cool. Neither one of them is the best team right now in the game or playing like that. And
Mm-hmm.
even like they said, the Bills on the road in the playoffs, I mean, they don't win. So, you know, it doesn't, to me, there's no significance to it. It didn't prove nothing. Everybody knows Josh Allen is reigning NFL MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes is Mahomes. And it's the same thing with him. Okay, Mahomes, it's like, okay, I lost you in the regular season, but I don't lose with that money on the line. I don't lose in the playoffs. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like there's any significance to this at all. It doesn't raise any stature. Um, honestly, if it was another young quarterback or something, maybe, but Josh Allen, it's all about results. So you beat
Right.
Mahomes in the regular season, cute. What's gonna happen once January come and everything is really like on the line? So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I see that as far as the game. I don't see any real significance from it.
Right. And the only significance that it holds in the regular season is standings, right? And
Yes.
where their record
Yeah.
would be in the AFC at the end. It determines whether they will face the Chiefs earlier in the playoffs or will they face
Yeah.
the Chiefs later in the playoffs. So that's the
Yeah.
only thing in the regular season that win that the Bills got against the Chiefs has. Is just
Yeah.
where you will be at when it comes down to in the playoffs. Let's look
Yeah.
at the last four times the Chiefs has got the Bills up out of here.
In the playoffs, okay.
2020 in the playoffs.
All right.
2020 AFC Championship game, Chiefs won 38-24.
All right.
2021 AFC Divisional round, Chiefs won 42-36 in overtime. 2023 AFC Divisional Round, Chiefs won 27-24. 2024 AFC Championship, Chiefs won 38-24. So there's a trend there, right? Like you can win in the regular season, that's cute, but once it gets down to the playoffs and
Yeah.
divisional and championship round, that's where you gotta beat them. That's where it matters because the Chiefs are in the way of Josh Allen and the Bills' path to their Super Bowl. That's it. So you can do the regular season. That's cute. Hey, we beat Chiefs. Okay, woo, whoop de whoop. Gets down to them playoffs. What can you do then? So
Yeah.
it remains to see because obviously Chiefs got there last year. They went there back to back. And they are like a stature in getting to the Super Bowl. So they are the standard, right? They are always the team to beat because when you look over your shoulder, ahead, left, right, the Chiefs is right there.
Yeah.
So the Bills want to get that because the Bills haven't tasted that since they, lost. What year was that? I mean, they lost how many Super Bowls straight? Don't
Two.
quote
I
me.
think two or
Two.
three. Might have been two, I think, back to back, but it could be three. Could be
Yeah.
three.
You know what? Let me
Yeah.
not, um, you know, give any false information out there. Let's
Yeah.
go. How many Super Bowls did Bills win? Super Bowls
No, lose. Did they lose?
did
Lose.
Bills lose? And the answer is so the Buffalo Bills lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls
Oh,
from the 1990 season to the 1993 season. All right. So obviously they are in a drought. They can't, they gotta, once they get there, they can't win. So they gotta get there, first. A Chiefs are in the way. So again, going back to the point
yeah,
on the topic, keep regular season is cute, but you gotta win when it counts. That's it.
yeah. Gotta win when it count, man.
That's it. And shout out to the Giants because the Giants beat the Bills in one of those Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying?
LT, LT. Yo, did you hear his take on the GOAT? He said Joe Montana was the GOAT because he played in a more difficult area. He said he could rock the quarterback. Saying Joe Montana kept coming, so that was his thing. He said it's two different eras, but he don't like how they try to lowball Montana when he played in a way tougher era when he could get rocked and he still kept coming.
No, I
That was
don't
his
think.
take as
Yeah,
far
I
as the
don't.
Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, I don't. That's like with basketball, right? They compare this era to it all depends on the individual player. That's for
Yeah,
me. Depends on the player
yeah.
and the player's attributes. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. The man won 7 Super Bowls.
Well,
7.
he's the greatest, but not the most talented
Not the
quarterback.
most talented, because Barry
But
Sanders is a more talented football player, right? If you want to base it on talent, right?
no, I'm talking
But
about at his position. I'm saying,
at his
not even like.
position, yeah, at his
Oh,
position.
yeah,
He's not the
okay.
most talented quarterback at his position. No, Michael Vick was more talented than him at the position, But we're talking about
Oh,
as
me too.
far as
Aaron Rodgers, even Peyton
Aaron
Manning.
Rodgers, yeah,
So nah. I just was like, just throwing that in there because
yeah,
that's what. Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, no
yeah. But
problem, no
Tom
problem.
Brady, and it's hard to say he's the greatest player because not Super Bowl, football, you got offense and defense. You could say
Yeah,
Lawrence Taylor is a better football player than Tom Brady, right?
yeah,
Because of
yeah,
of his attributes and his skill set, right? You could say Barry Sanders is a better football player than Tom Brady, right? But they play two separate positions. And football is kind of hard, but as far as GOAT and quarterbacks, we can't say Tom Brady is the greatest football player ever. Because I think, in my unbiased opinion, my 2 cents, the greatest football player ever to me is Deion Sanders, prime time. For me, the greatest football player as far as athletes is concerned. The man could play. The man wasn't phenomenal. Defense, kick return, great shut down corner like Deion, to me, the greatest football player. But the greatest quarterback, to ever play the game is Tom Brady. And I know people are gonna, chime in and say, oh no, greatest player, but it's subjective, right? But if you're looking at rings, Tom Brady got 7 Super Bowl rings. Nobody 7 Super Bowl rings. So GOAT quarterback. But greatest
yeah,
football
yeah.
player, that's up for debate.
All right, yeah. So, and it kind of segue into the next thing because, my boy, like I be telling people, it's almost like, well, my boy Lamar Jackson came back, you know,
Uh-huh.
salute. I feel like Lamar Jackson's the best player in the NFL. And if once he get a chip, then nobody will be looking at me side eye. But he don't have the chips, so that's why everybody want to hang on. But you can't tell me that anybody watching football, you can't tell me you see, I don't, Mahomes, Allen, somebody like they better than him. He just hasn't won the chip. That's the
Well, I
only
mean,
knock. He has to win a chip. But we're talking about from a talent and just player.
he's not
Ain't
better
none of
than
these
Mahomes. Mm-mm. Did Mahomes? Nah.
to
Mm-mm.
you. To
Nah.
not
Like,
I mean,
he's
look,
just not better.
Mahomes is greater. It's the same thing. Like until like when people saw Aaron Rodgers playing, they're like, yo, on a lower level, they're like, yo, he's better than Brett Favre. Then when he won, it was like, oh, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, he's better, but Brett Favre is greater. There's a difference between being better and greater. You see what I'm saying? Like Michael Jordan was better than a lot of guys, but he wasn't great in his early years. He wasn't greater than Larry Bird or Magic. Nobody gonna say he was great, but you look at talent. Yes, that's my thing. That's my thing with Lamar. Once he
Mm,
wins, once he wins, it'll silence a lot of that. because people, they want to not differentiate the two. But being better and being greater is two different things, man. It's two different things, especially when
I mean,
we talk about sports and we start getting into the championship. Better and greater is two different things. It's two different things.
he's not better than Patrick Mahomes, and he's not greater than Patrick Mahomes. Even if Lamar Jackson wins one, he won't be better than Patrick Mahomes. He won't be greater than Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick Mahomes right now is a standard. He's a standard right now as far as quarterbacks is concerned. He is, absolutely. I mean, it's just stats prove it. The eye test prove it. The rings prove it. I mean, he's the standard.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Jalen Hurts outperformed him 2 times in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts do what his team need to do. So it's like
he only got one. He only got one Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he outplayed Mahomes twice. That's why it's kind of like the standard. You understand what you're saying? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it.
You can't put Lamar in any type of situation, any type of. You can't. I mean,
my boy got to win. He got to win. That's why I said once he needs to win to silence a lot of that. That's why I'm not going to go to bat and go crazy. That's my boy. I feel how I feel, but I know he got to win to really be in the convo, silence a lot. So,
I think the only way that him winning a Super Bowl would silence anything would just be like, well, okay, he proved that he could win at least a Super Bowl, right? He would have the Aaron Rodgers syndrome. Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback, but only won one Super Bowl. That's what people hang their hat on with Aaron Rodgers. You know, one of the greatest passers the game has ever seen, you know, multiple-time MVP, but he only has one Super Bowl, right? So it's like Lamar Jackson need to win at least 2 Super Bowls, maybe 3 to be put in that conversation. He can't.
People move the goalposts, man. Like Ben Roethlisberger has more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers, but he's not in the same class as Aaron Rodgers. It's not in the same class as Aaron. Quarterbacks.
I mean,
come on. Say don't do that.
I mean, he got 2 Super Bowl rings.
Roethlisberger's in the same class as Aaron Rodgers.
As far as I mean, talent-wise,
period. No. Quarterback talent? No, he's not in the same period. Doesn't matter.
No. But he has
period.
He has won more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers.
That's the point I'm making.
He won one Super Bowl.
He won more Super Bowls, but he's not the same caliber. He's none of that. That's what I'm saying. It's situational, this argument. It's not the standard. That's why I mentioned Big Ben and Aaron Rodgers, though. Eli Manning has more than Aaron Rodgers, but he's not nowhere near him.
He's not, but he has 2 Super Bowls.
But we're talking about players, though, right? We're not talking about you got this amount. We're talking about the ring.
By wins and losses and how much Super Bowl rings that you could win. In any sport, players are measured by your attributes and how many chips you have, right? Because that's what we look at LeBron. LeBron is measured by how many chips he wins.
All right, Michael Jordan's not the GOAT. Bill Russell is.
Huh?
Bill Russell's the GOAT.
But no, Bill Russell, yes, got more chips than him, but Mike got 6 rings and is a better overall player. So that's why Mike is considered the GOAT, because Mike got 6 rings and he's a better overall player. He's measured by Michael Jordan is on a league of his own, boy. A league of his own. And no, you can't compare Mike. Mike is in a different stratosphere. Can't compare. And he has 6 championship rings, 3 three-peats. Like, come on. Let's
3 or 2 three-peats. 2 three-peats.
My bad. 2 three-peats. Let's
2
leave Mike alone.
three-peats.
Let's leave Mike alone.
No. It's not even about this is not a Michael Jordan thing, bro. This is moving the goalposts. Moving the goal. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
One Super Bowl ring.
If it does not apply to Mike and Bill Russell, that's moving the goalposts. Because he has almost twice as many rings as Mike. But he's not the best because Mike.
Well, let's get back to what we was talking about. But as far as Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has no Super Bowl rings. None. He can't even hold.
We weren't comparing Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson.
No, we weren't comparing. But we going back. We got to. Because we talk about Michael. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Lamar Jackson having no Super Bowl rings and measured up against of Patrick Mahomes, who has what 3 Super Bowl rings,
You're
and
saying that Lamar Jackson got to win 3 rings
he got
and
to
all
win
this
at
shit.
least 2. He got to win at least 2. He can't be a great quarterback and win 1 because that's what they hang their hat over with Aaron Rodgers. As great as you say that he is, he only has 1 Super Bowl ring. All these MVPs, 1 Super Bowl ring, and this is what they hang their hat off of with Aaron Rodgers. They be saying it on Sports Center. They say it on all these sports shows. They say as great as Aaron Rodgers is, he only has 1 Super Bowl ring. Lamar Jackson has none. So we can't even say anything until Lamar Jackson at least wins 1. And that's up for debate if you're going to win 1. So that's left to be seen. We just can't.
Look. So
Mahomes is a standard right now.
So look. If Lamar Jackson retired today, first ballot Hall of Famer. Your boy Eli won 2 and struggling to get in the Hall of Fame.
He's struggling to get into a Hall of Fame because as a
he's
player,
not great.
as a talent,
he's not fucking great.
Right. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. As a talent, yes, he's not the most talented player in the world. He's not a non-athlete, but he has 2 Super Bowl rings. So players are measured, great players are measured by how great they are individually and how much team success they have and how much rings they are. So Aaron Rodgers, in comparison to Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson, sure, Lamar Jackson is a great physical specialist as a quarterback, but he has no Super Bowl rings. So you're going to be a guy that's measured as a great athlete, great quarterback, but you couldn't win a chip. You couldn't win a chip. Aaron Rodgers, multiple MVPs, great quarterback, like you say. He can't measure up. He only has 1 Super Bowl. 1. Tom Brady wasn't the most athletic quarterback. We just said it, that there are athletes that are better than Tom Brady, but Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl rings, 7. So we can't even compare no quarterback to Tom Brady, regardless if you're a greater player than him or not. The man has 7 rings. It makes up for his lack of talent because his cerebral mind out there outperforming everybody allowed him to win 7 Super Bowl rings. So we can't even. Until Lamar Jackson win at least 2, you can talk all that hoorah about him all he want, but he has to win Super Bowls. He has to win. He got to win. If he don't win, he's just a great quarterback that couldn't win a Super Bowl.
All right. So with that being said, my boy returned this week and was looking sharp as a tack. 4 touchdowns and got Miami up out of here. Let's talk about that.
I mean, that's the
and we
Miami
making the
Dolphins.
playoffs. And we making the playoffs. We 3-5 and we making the playoffs. Lamar back, we making the playoffs. Where the Giants at?
The Giants, we missing Neighbors, Scatterbull.
Nah. We missing the whole defense. And you see what we do. Lamar, Ravens, we here.
The Giants.
We here.
We can't compare the Giants to the Ravens because Giants.
We know we can't.
Giants
we couldn't for a while.
You could hyper over talk me if you want. Giants has no Super Bowl aspirations at all. Nobody's looked at the season to Giants.
Obviously not.
They are looking in the season as Ravens as they gotta get to the Super Bowl.
And we gonna do that. We're going to do that.
Different aspirations for both.
We're going to do that.
Let's eliminate Giants.
We're going to do that.
Had no aspirations of making even the playoffs. Like Giants is in a rebuilding stage.
We're going to do that. Let's talk about it.
Our Ravens are supposed to be poised to win the Super Bowl. They got
Lamar Jackson missed 3 games too.
I'm just saying there's a lot of analysts, there's a lot of people that was like, yo, Lamar Jackson, Ravens got to win. They got to win. They got to at least get to the Super Bowl.
I agree. That's the standard every season as far as Lamar.
And they played the Miami Dolphins. I mean, they did what they're supposed to do against a bad team. They did what they're supposed to do against a bad team. But they played the Dolphins.
But you see the Bengals lost to the Jets.
Yeah, Jets is trash. Jets is trash.
So, and that's with Flacco at the quarterback too, and they still lost to the Jets. So
that was a cute game. That was a cute game for the Ravens. Cute. It was cute.
But my boy back. We welcome in all hate. We welcome in it all.
We got to see what they're gonna do. I mean, the Ravens, they come and they go based on Lamar Jackson. We all know that he is the quarterback. He is a franchise player. He's the face. He's the fuel of that team. We all know Ravens go where Lamar Jackson go. You know
that's
good and that's bad. And on the flip side of that, because it's like the whole world, Ravens fans are like football, people that watch football, even if they're not Ravens fan, they rooting for Lamar Jackson in a sense. Like, yo, we gotta see you at least get there, bro. Even in your times when you had the one of the best defenses in the NFL, you couldn't even get to the Super Bowl. At least get there. At least can we get there?
We gotta get there.
Playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. We shouldn't be talking about Ravens getting to the playoffs. The conversation should be about Ravens competing to get to the Super Bowl and winning the
Yes,
Super
sir.
Bowl. That's what the conversation should be about.
Yes, sir.
Playoffs.
All right.
Next.
You know.
Next.
All right. You know that was what we had for football. But you see the Dodgers, man. Shout out to the Dodgers. You got the jacket, you got the hat on, false claiming behind. You know what I'm saying? Talking about Yankees, you got the Dodger jacket and the hat. False claiming ass, man. I mean, did you tune in? Did you tune in at all?
Fuck no, I'm not a Dodgers fan. I wasn't tuning in.
No, I'm just saying, like that was a great World Series.
It was a great World Series. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
great World Series.
Seven games. Great World Series. But I wasn't.
Yeah.
To your question, did I tune in? No, I watched some of the. I can't. Unless it's the Yankees. They was in there last year in the World Series. They got bumped out by the Blue Jays this year. I'm not. I'm not really into baseball. Period. Like that. I'm just being honest. I watched it here and
It was
there.
a great World Series, though.
Yeah, it was a great World Series. By watching the highlights and they was down 3. I know when I last year they was down like 3-1, and I was like, damn,
Blue Jays, man, they blew it.
Yeah.
They had a 3-2 series lead.
Yeah, 3-2 series lead, lost 2 straight.
Yeah, man. It was, it was.
What's his name? Yamamoto won the series.
Yeah, the MVP. Yes.
Shout out to him. He pulled a Randy Johnson. They had to get him for game 6 and 7 back to back. Like, yo, listen, you got to win us these next 2 games. And he went out there and did that. So he's deserving of the MVP.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And nobody else like really played well in the Dodgers, like consistently played. Like Ohtani had a great game, but as a series, Mookie Betts. So it was an ugly, grinded out series, man. But shout out to the Dodgers. They did everything in that game 7. So
yeah, and this is the franchise 9th championship. 9th. Shout out to Magic Johnson. I saw a joint the other day where it was like, yo, he got obviously
15?
5 NBA chips. He got 2 World Series chips. He got a WNBA chip, and he got a FIFA championship or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, Magic Johnson out here collecting rings and all types of sports, man. So shout out to MJ, Magic Johnson, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Magic.
For sure.
Yeah. What we got next? I ain't talking about the Dodgers no more. Jacket.
Yeah.
But shout out to Dodgers.
So did you get a chance to check out Big L's album that dropped?
Yeah, I listened to it before we got on this podcast. Trash.
Yeah. I mean, I'm never gonna say like a Big L joint is trash because it's like I will say that basically I think the whole goal of it was basically to allow his family and estate to be able to make money off of work because a lot of unauthorized releases came out in the past, and that's why they're not on streaming platforms. So I feel like outside of his first one, obviously that he made when he was still living, and then that first posthumous album, The Big Picture, that came out in 2000. Other than that, though, it's like a whole bunch of releases dropped. So I feel like there was shout out to some of the features on that Big L album. It was dope. Method Man went in.
Nas killed it on that.
Method Man, Nas, those features was fire. It was dope collabs, but I think it was more so to give the family an opportunity to get money, from his music because they wasn't really able to with those unauthorized releases and getting pulled from streaming platforms. As Big L is nice, so he got some bars and everything on there, but it's like if you like a person like myself or my man Drex or certain things like a lot of those stuff you heard. Whether it was like, not in the best audio quality, or it might have been like a different, little version or whatever the case may be. So it wasn't like, oh my God, like this is new Big L music.
Right.
But I think it was more for the estate to be able to make some money off of him as they entitled to.
Hmm.
And also, like, even like a song like this freestyle with Jay-Z, they made it
Trash.
more into a song format. But we all heard the original radio format for years. So that's what
Right.
we're used to. So it's like hearing it in that format, some people like it and some people don't.
Right.
Like, I understood the assignment from what Nas was doing for Big L. And it's
Hmm.
dope that he did that and
Hmm.
give his family a chance to be. Because that's what they said, though. Even when people look at it, it's a lot of stuff that, you might have heard and stuff, but it's now going to be on streaming platforms and stuff like that. So I respect, even for the younger generation, because you
Right.
can't deny the bars. You can't
Hmm.
deny the bars. So
Right.
given, I like what, helping to keep his legacy alive because I mean, it's not really no music left for Big L.
Yeah.
Like, so it wasn't but so much they was gonna be able to do. But it's like, you know what? The family needs to be able to make money off his music in some shape or form. Because they
Yeah.
lost out on a lot of money with those unauthorized releases. So I respect the bars. I like what Nas is doing with the legend drops and everything. So it
Hmm.
wasn't like, okay, this is new material. So that's the only disappointing part for me. But I just respect Big L's legacy and the younger generation and everybody getting a chance to dive into something.
I just think like all money ain't good money, right? You gotta
Yeah.
like Big L legacy. Um, like some artists we can do without hearing new music. Like unless you got a plethora of unreleased verses and stuff that we never heard before, and you could make an album like this last Mobb Deep album, Legacy with Infinite. It was a dope album, right? Because there's some verses from P, well, a lot of verses from P that people never heard, right? And it didn't sound outdated. Like Havoc did a great job production wise, making sure that we didn't review it like how we reviewing this Big L album. This Big L album sounds outdated. Even from the production, it sounds outdated. And I get that they was trying to bring back, because the Mass Appeal and the Legend Has It series and everything, but I just think it wasn't a good look for Big L's fans. Even though, yeah, you want to compensate for the family, but again, all money ain't good money. And it's like the legacy, right, of Big L, I feel got tarnished by this. You could have did without it because it's that nostalgia, is that aura, even from this younger generation that never heard of a Big L, and people talk about Big L, and they be like, man, I want to hear this guy, Big L. I saw a video where Mac Miller was saying that Big L got him into rapping. It didn't get him into rapping because of this album. He got into rapping because of the old Big L stuff that he heard. It was like, yo, this guy's nice, right? So you can go back as somebody that's in this generation. Somebody could bring up a Big L, and you could go back and reference Big L music, like, oh, this shit was nice, right? You listen to that old Jay-Z joint now. I mean, before, like, oh, that joint was nice. That freestyle crazy because it was dated in that sound then. Try to put that on the album now and try to. I was listening. I was like, my God, like this shit. I was
You really
upset.
didn't like it. You really didn't like it.
Nah, I was upset, man. Because Nas' verse was fire, and now I think number three track, I forgot the name of it. His verse was fire, but just listening to Big L, I'm like, yo, he said a lot of this shit already. You know what I mean? Like he had a few joints that we never heard before as far as verses is concerned, but it's just that it didn't. It wasn't knocking. It didn't hit. Just like how we was talking about the Clips album and how they haven't made an album in years, like over 10 years, right? But the music and the lyrics and the bar, even though they're not passed away, I'm talking about in terms of production and the sound,
Yeah.
it sound dated,
Yeah.
right? If they would have took some of Big L verses and got some producers that can date his song, his music, and his production, I think it would have got better reviews. Because looking at the reviews I was looking at, a lot of them was like the production is trash, and I agree. It
I didn't even
wasn't.
read the reviews. I didn't even read the reviews.
Yeah, the,
So a lot of people they wasn't rocking with it.
Yeah, a lot of people. It was getting a lot of bad reviews, man. And I'm not like, damn, man. Big L was such a great lyricist. It kind of took away from that legacy a little bit. Like sometimes certain artists that it's just leave him alone, bro. Like, unless you ain't got a plethora of unreleased music, like how Tupac had his run with after his post how they call it, posthumous albums.
Posthumous, yeah.
Yeah, posthumous albums. But Tupac had a lot of stuff that was unreleased. He was
Yeah.
lot. So like, oh shit, is this Tupac alive? You know what I mean? He had that. I think we could have did without this Big L album. I was disappointed. I was you let me hear it, but nah, it didn't hit. Then not. That's my opinion. It didn't knock to me.
That's fair. That's fair,
Yeah.
man. That's fair.
But
You
rest in
know.
peace to him. Hopefully the family. Hopefully this
I will. Let
provide.
me ask this, because you could speak. You could speak to this. All right. When he passed away, right? What was the view of him like in '99 when it's like, yo, Big L got killed and he passed away? Because I can't speak to it in real time. If you can remember, what was it like? What was the vibe? I know this is after the Biggie and Tupac deaths. He was, he was dropping underground tracks. People, he was building anticipation for that next release. He's rumored to sign to Rockefeller. So because certain things like in real time, like when somebody be like, yo, like, so I actually like, I can remember when Big Pun passed away in real time. Because that was my favorite rapper, my first favorite rapper. I always tell people, you ordered them CDs, and I was just addicted. I remember I seen the Spanish Statue of Liberty. He got a hand to the jury. I'm like, yo, this big motherfucker bigger than Yankee Stadium. I'm like, yo, like I just became, you know what I mean? I could speak to that because I was into that, because that was my first favorite rapper. So I mean, when he passed away, I remember I was in the house on New York 1. I'm like, oh crap. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I want to get that real time view of when he passed away. Take the floor.
Yeah.
Like, bring me to that time.
I mean, for me, right? Because Big L, like you alluded to it, he was really like underground. He had a couple of freestyles of Hot 97, and people was catching up on his name. He was like, he was buzzing. He was coming up, but he hadn't released like his the Big Picture was supposed to be his album. Like that was supposed to put him in that spotlight. So he passed before that album came out, so it was, he was overshadowed. Big Pac was there, Jay-Z was on the come up, but Big and Pac in that time frame was really dominating hip hop, that era, so Big L was like, oh, y'all heard of Big L? Yeah, he's nice, but they wasn't really, I know for me, I wasn't really checking for Big L. Brooklyn on fire, Biggie on fire, East Coast, West Coast beef on fire. That was dominating the headlines. So when he passed, it's like, damn, he was just about to blow. That was the consensus. He was just about to blow. Just about to blow. He was just coming out of the shadows from the underground. People were starting to recognize Big L name. Then he gone. So that was the aura. That was the consensus for me in Big L. He was on the cusp, and that album, The Big Picture, when he was holding up the L, that was the one where it would have like, boom, all right, now Big L is here. But unfortunately, he passed before that, so that album didn't hit as much as it would have if he was, alive to promote it, to do the press runs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That he wasn't able to do with it.
Because the only original songs was Size 'Em Up and Ebonics. And holding it down. And holding it down too. Like it was like, I know those was songs that was made and he had the beats and everything before he passed.
Ebonics was that record that it was, everybody was going crazy. If a bitch hit me on the hit means page me, then it, like yo, like that was the track that everybody was going nuts for. That Ebonics, the beat, oh my God, it was it's lingo that still resonates to today. Like if people know from up north, people still be like, yo, that's Fugazi, or you know what I mean? We can't say hit me on the hit because we ain't got pages no more, but they still like, yo, hit me. You know what I mean? We just don't say hit me on the hit. We say hit me. So these are still, Ebonics phrases that people from up north still do today. So that was the record. But again, when he passed, it was like, damn, man, he was shit.
And then another caveat with, him being from Harlem, and Mace was the guy at that time.
Yeah.
And Cam was on the come up. Yep. So it's like both of them was like, it's like, you know,
But they
he
was
was the,
together.
yeah. So
Hmm.
like, how was that? Like with the whole, you know, the whole Mace being the man in Harlem and at that time, and like as far as Big L's affiliation to or any of that, like, you know,
I mean, you just said it. Mace. Because when Biggie died, then Bad Boy turned to Mace because that was their next
yeah,
flagship artist. So, and at that time, Big L, rest in peace, was gone. So it was like nobody's checking for Big L because that was the album was supposed to put him on the map. Ebonics was buzzing, yeah, but he was still like in that underground circuit. Ebonics,
uh,
it wasn't like the one of those commercial records that you're gonna hear in the clubs, people dance
okay,
to.
okay,
It was just a
okay.
great hip hop record. So it was like we didn't, when he passed, okay, yo, Big L, damn, he passed. Then Mace come out with bad, bad, bad. Oh, Mace, or
Okay.
whatever song that Mace
Okay.
come out with, and nobody's thinking about Big L no more. Then
I,
here comes Cameron, Horse and Carriage. Nobody's thinking about Big L no more.
so
So
let me ask this, right? Because you know this is good, like you know what I mean? Because this is real time stuff. So like, in what was the consent? What was the view like? I know probably in Harlem it could have been different, but just in New York at that time, like before he passed, and then when he passed, right? About Big L, like what was like? How was the city as far as the reaction? Was it this big thing, or do you
nah,
think it just got elevated once time passed?
yeah, it wasn't a big thing. And I always
Okay.
say, I always look at Big L. I say like Big L is like the modern day, like Pat Poose, and how Pat Poose had that crazy buzz, underground, crazy buzz, about to hit the mainstream, and then it was like boom. It's like it just died out. He's just a great lyricist, but he never had
Okay.
that. He never made that appeal.
Okay.
Big L didn't get a chance to do that because unfortunately, he passed before his that Big Picture album came out. So I look at Big L how like he had the trajectory like Pat Poose has in this current state of hip hop. I just think that's where Big L would have fit in because he's dope lyrically, like Pat Poose. Pat Poose is dope lyrically, right? But in a time where these mega stars is taking over hip hop, it's like where does Pat Poose fit in? Yeah, you nice, but you got to be able to cross over, right? You got to be able to make some commercial hits that people are going to resonate with. Even Nas had to
Mm,
do it. As lyrically gifted Nas is, he even admitted to, these records I had to do because that's what the label wanted. Nas is not that commercial type, make them dance. That's not his style, right? So Nas is just a lyricist as he going to catch you with his bars, but I just think Big L didn't, he passed before he could make that impact. It is not saying that if he didn't pass, that he would have made that impact because Mace had that commercial appeal. Mace, he just had it. The voice, he had the team backing him. Like it was no stopping that trajectory with Mace. Now, maybe could Big L had, obviously he probably had some songs with Mace, right? To kind of keep Big L in that picture. But that commercial shit, I don't think that was a Big L. If you listen to his album, the Big L, Big Picture, it was no really commercial songs on it. It was just pure hip hop. And that's what Big L was. So, but we don't know, right? Because he's not here, right? To see where his music could have transcended into.
yeah.
But I just look at him as like a Pat Poose, modern day Pat Poose. You look at Pat Poose now, in my opinion, that's what Big L would have been, like a Pat Poose how he is now. So
Okay. Okay. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. All right. All right. All right. So I wanted to get because I never asked that. I
mhm.
wanted to get a real time. Like, you know, I just want, you know. So that
Yeah,
was
that's
dope.
just
That
my
was that.
opinion. Other people
No, no,
may
and yeah,
relatively
you
see it
know,
different than I
yeah.
do.
Yeah, but I wanted
I'm
to. I've never asked you that question as long as you know what I mean in life. That's how I was. It came to me while we was doing this. Like I wanted to get that like consensus of how it really was for you at that time. You
yeah.
know, not like in hindsight, like you
Hmm.
know, you like how it is now, but like
Hmm.
real time. That's why I use the example with the big pun thing. In
Hmm.
real time, I can remember like, yo, in real time,
Hmm.
and and I remember like it was nowhere near like a obviously because even though I wasn't into it, but I remember Biggie's funeral and how big and crazy that was. You
Right.
know? it wasn't like Big Pun Joint wasn't like that, but it was like yo, like it was like damn, because
Yeah,
he had hits. He was
yeah.
and he was the first Latino to do a
Latino
lot,
dude.
so
Yeah,
he made an impact. Unlike a Big L, Big
right,
Pun had made an impact
right.
and
But
affected a lot of people. So
but you
that's
see the
why
difference, right? Big Pun
yes,
had commercial hit records, you know,
along with the lyrical
along
ability
with the
and
lyrical
stuff.
ability, right? It's
Yeah,
so hard. I was listening the other day, man. Like I just lost 100 pounds. I'm trying to
yeah,
live, and
yeah,
he
yeah,
passed
yeah,
right
yeah.
at like
Yeah,
almost
that
literally
was
right after that, man. It's crazy,
that was crazy. Yeah, man.
devastating, devastating.
Salute to our legends, man.
Facts.
Um, yeah, yo, the boy Kaya Anthony
Yeah,
debut.
yeah,
Yo, it was
yeah.
looking, yo, like we was talking about it this morning.
Hmm.
Yo, go ahead,
Yeah.
kick that off, kick that off.
Listen, my man off the bench. Let's keep in mind, off the bench, my man, 15 off the bench, looking like once he honed his game, he had the little came back, gave a little bump, step back, jumper, the little, and it was crazy, right? Because there was one play where who was looking at who was there was somebody was on Facebook was dissecting Bronny's game, right? So he was like in the corner, right? And then he was like somebody drove the ball and Bronny's man had stepped up to defend the ball handler and Bronny just stayed in the corner, right? And the guy's like, look at Bronny, man, you don't even know basketball's IQ. The same exact play in Syracuse. Cayenne in the corner. Man came around the screen, came to the middle. Cayenne man came over. What did Cayenne do? Cut to the basket, dunk, easy basket. So that showed me like, yo, he gets it. He
Yeah,
understands the game
yeah,
of basketball. Like I was telling you, like,
yeah,
Melo
yeah.
and I forgot the guy that he was training with are
And
really
Brickley.
like, yeah, they're really like putting their knowledge in the game into him and is showing on that court. He's gonna be a great 3 level scorer at the rim, mid range, 3 pointer. Like, he said, and I like because after the game he said, I gotta work, I gotta improve on my free throw shooting. I think he was like 2 for 4 or something. So that just shows like, yo, that man, he understands, he gets it. And I said it before, I was like, I always thought he was better than Bronny. Anyway, I just think that LeBron James thrust Bronny into there because he wanted to be the first father and son duo. But Bronny's not ready for the league, in my unbiased opinion. I don't think he's ready for the league. He showed some flashes in that Miami game, yeah, but I don't think he's ready for the league yet. But Cayenne, he did the right thing. Go to college, and he's playing 15 off the bench in college. That's like 20 in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he gonna be a problem. I like he had 15, 3 and 3, and 28 minutes off the bench. Shout out to my man Cayenne, man.
Yeah, that was
Man.
definitely yeah, that was an impressive debut for sure. It
Yeah,
was an impressive debut. And it's funny because I've seen like all of the work that Kim and Melo been doing over the years,
yeah.
and it's like
Mm-hmm.
with the jump shot. And I watched his some AAU games from his high school. So you just it's a pleasure to see, the
Yeah,
development, and I'm interested to see his journey. But wish him much success, man.
yeah,
Much success, man. It was
yeah,
refreshing to see that.
yeah.
I
Especially
know
on
I know
Syracuse.
Melo wish he was at the game. I wonder why Melo wasn't there. I know he wanted to be though. I know it had to be
Yeah,
a good reason why Melo wasn't there. But his mom was in the building.
yeah. Mom's in
Lala
the
was there.
building.
So
Yeah,
that was dope. That was dope, man. That was
yeah,
dope.
yeah. Melo,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't care what you're doing, man. You got to find a way to be at your son's first college game, like your debut. You got
But
to
you know
find a way
what?
to be there, Melo. You got to
Maybe
find a way.
maybe maybe Melo was there because they be wanting to. This is what I've seen. They be wanting to throw Melo into stuff, and it was plenty of times where Kion did something or something, and they want to put Melo, and Melo like, nah, let him have his moment. Like he'd be like, no, like
Yeah,
he fall back. So he probably did that purposely. Who knows?
maybe.
And hit himself
Yeah.
because a lot of them AAU games and certain games, Melo was at him. He
Mm-hmm.
was at them. He just don't be craving attention or
Tension.
fall
Yeah.
back and be like, yo, nah, chill. Like,
Yeah.
nah. So who knows?
Right.
But salute to Melo and
Right.
the Anthony family though.
Yeah. Salute to them,
Definitely.
man. Absolutely.
Uh I see you got should the Lakers move on from LeBron? I mean, honestly, I haven't even really been paying attention to LeBron. Because honestly, Austin Reeves and Luka been
Killing.
holding it down. So I haven't
Killing.
even really been looking into the whole LeBron like anything, honestly, because he's not
Mm-hmm.
playing. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could chime away with that.
I mean, if you look at, you just alluded to Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, man. In their last 6 games, Austin Reeves is averaging 32 points, 9 assists, 5 boards. Luka is
Yeah,
averaging 34 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Like you got your two guys right there.
yeah,
You don't need a LeBron to mess this chemistry up. Even when Luka and Reeves was out, you had
they won their last game with both of them
yeah,
out.
Aiton came through with like 26.
Yeah,
Richard what's his name? I can't pronounce his name. Hamarua.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like 24, 25. So these
yeah,
guys are
yeah,
proven NBA players that they can score when called upon. And I
yeah.
think uh this is a huge diss like to Braun, right? Because it's like you got these players who are capable, because obviously Luka is gonna be Luka because he's the star, right? But you got these other guys like Austin Reeves who kind of was taking a back seat because LeBron James hogs the ball a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but now you're seeing Austin Reeves is like, listen, I could, man had 51. You know what I'm saying? Like he hung 51, what was on the Knicks? Was it? That he hung
No, not the
51 on?
Knicks.
No,
Who was on
the
the Knicks?
Wolves? The Wolves. Was it the Wolves?
I I forgot what team, but he had a 50 piece,
But he had a 50 piece.
nevertheless.
Like, come on, like that's not no person that could be a role player. That's a person that you can rely on to get you buckets in end games and rely on could take over games if you need to. He proved that. So you got the two pieces right there. I think if you bring LeBron back, the style of play that LeBron type of player that he is, and the style of play that he plays now, he's really not that dominant force no more. If you look at LeBron, he really just 3-point shooter, 3-point shooting. There's no need for that. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for that. There's no need for them to kind of run the offense around you per se. I obviously hope they were running around Luka even when LeBron come back. This is Luka's team, but LeBron being who he is, obviously he ain't going to be the one to be like, let me take a back seat because he feels like I'm still LeBron James. I don't. I just think that they should move on from him. Let him go somewhere else where, because I saw a clip or something online that he was talking highly of Wemby and how he will be a great mentor to Wemby. If that's the case, okay, ship him to San Antonio, bro. Let him go over there. I think Lakers right now, they what, 5-2? I think it's 5-3, 5-2. They are playing real good basketball right now. That core is developing. They are coming together. Don't touch that. Leave that alone. Because I think LeBron gonna come in there and fuck it up. Because now Austin Reeves is gonna pass the ball to LeBron. Luka's gonna be Luka, but in some instances, Luka gonna be like, all right, let me get LeBron some touches. You know what I'm saying? It takes away from Aiton. It just these guys are proving that they could play basketball and they could put up numbers in today's game. They
Yeah.
don't really need LeBron, in my opinion.
I mean, I feel like, that's LeBron, so they're not winning no chip without Braun. But like I said, I
I
haven't
mean,
really been putting too much stock
this is a
into Braun because he
41-year-old
hasn't.
Braun. 41, even though he played at a high level last year, but he's a 1 year older this year. So
He's an
Father Time,
anomaly.
he's an anomaly, but eventually Father Time, is going to catch up to you.
Yeah,
So,
and like you said though, they got them two young guns. So finding a way to incorporate them where it's something to be figured out.
mhm.
But if it gets figured out and everybody meshing where they all can still perform, Austin Reeves and Luca,
Mhm.
to the level that they're at, and integrating Braun where it's not taken away from nobody, at this point, it's probably be them at their best. But they're not winning nothing without LeBron. So, you know,
Mhm. I beg to differ, but
you know,
they got
how you
Luca. They got Luca.
how you feel about Ja Morant, man? Memphis, man.
I think he out of here, man. I think he out
Think
of here.
so?
Yeah, I mean, it was one point in the game where, if you look at, they got a picture floating around. Everybody was on one side. He was at the whole end of the bench, just looking. He is disconnected. Hey, he's disconnected from this team, and he even said he lost his joy. Like he doesn't have the
Yeah.
joy. once a player says that, it's time to move on, right? If you look at Vince Carter when he
Yeah, I'm
said,
about to say that.
uh-huh,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
he he lost the joy and he went to Nets and it's like, what the fuck? What the hell?
Man,
Where was this Vince at?
turned
You know
it
what I
up.
mean? So it's
Vince
like
turned it up.
turned it up. And this is the same for John Morant right now. He's just not feeling his team. He had it out with his coach. That's why he got suspended. It's just, it's going to be hard to move him because he's only in the third year of his 5-year contract that he got. So it's a lot of money that he's making. So it's going to be
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
try to move him. If you're a team and if you want him based off, off court issue that comes with it, hopefully he got over that. But you're going to have to give up a bulk of your team to get him to match it up salary wise. So is a team willing to do that for John Morant?
They might because
So
he's young still. And you
yeah,
know Nike, he's a Nike athlete on his third
yeah,
signature shoe. Nike make the uniforms for the NBA. So I'm pretty
yeah,
sure they're like, yo, listen, get him
uh-huh.
somewhere because we got to make this
Somewhere,
money. You know
right.
what I'm saying? So I think if
Hmm.
Nike will help with that situation, who knows? I mean,
So this
because
brings the question: if they was to trade John Morant, what
uh-huh.
would be an ideal fit for John Morant?
Honestly,
What team?
um, honestly, I think at the stage that John Morant's at, it's not like, oh, send him to like the Spurs or something. Nah. You might need to send him to the Pelicans with Zion or something. Like make him
Hmm.
play somewhere like that. Because he hasn't shown growth as far he's talented, but
Hmm.
I don't know if he's at that, yo, send him to a contender to put him
Hmm.
over the top and he's not that facility. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like you're not gonna just send him to the contenders and it's like, oh, John Morant's what they he's not the
is what they
prototype point
missing.
guard like
Yeah,
CP3 or Rondo or certain thing. Like you're not gonna send John Morant to the Clippers and he's gonna make Kawhi Leonard better or
right.
something like that, you know? So that's the only thing with Morant, like where he's at in his career. I just
Hmm.
think you need to put him with some young, exciting guys that can grow,
Hmm.
and then as he keeps maturing, they might mature into something like something ideal for him. Maybe like, yo, send him to Orlando. Because I feel like the reason why I'm saying that, because his other backcourt mate is over there already, but because they're young, with
Bane.
they
Hmm.
yeah, you know what I mean? They don't really have a really identity. And Paolo's nice, but it's like you understand what I'm saying? I feel
Hmm.
like a situation like that, but you're not sending them to like the Spurs or the Knicks or something
Hmm.
like that or Philly.
Hmm.
Like you're not sending them to these teams like you guys like, oh, you're gonna bring them over the top or something.
Hmm.
But that's because I feel like that's what John Morant has showed.
Hmm.
So I
I
think,
mean, yeah, I mean, looking at the teams, John Morant if they was to trade him, they would need to trade him to a team where they have at least a solid big man. I seen
yeah,
him and Jaren Jackson. They played well, together. That
yeah,
tandem was working. And at one point, they were saying, they was trying to say, "Yo, we could compete for a championship 2, 3 years ago."
yes,
You
yes,
know,
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah,
so how
yes,
how
indeed.
quickly how quickly things could change, right?
Yep,
So I'm looking at
yep.
John Morant. Obviously, I don't know if that can change because you don't want a disgruntled superstar on your team.
Nah,
You
you
want to
don't.
try to get as much assets for him as possible, but it's like what team can he go to that has first of all the cap room or tradable assets that can match his salary in order to be traded. So I
Yeah,
think an ideal situation for him would be probably a buyout and then him signing to another team that could, kind of not obviously ain't gonna match his salary, but can give him, something worth his while because he will already have collected his money from Memphis. So we'll see. We'll see what will happen. I don't see, like you said, like what team can he go to that's gonna be like, yo, just gonna put them over the hump, because the
yeah,
way his style of play that he is, he's not a conventional point guard.
yeah.
He's an explosive scorer. Like even Derrick Rose, he was an explosive scorer, but he played more. He had more point guardish style in him more so than John Morant. John Moran is looking, he's looking to dunk over your head, and so his style of play kind of, you know, uh, it may not fit a couple of, and he's not a shooter like that as well, right? So the
Yeah.
NBA now, with the number wise, uh, want shooters. So we'll see. It's interesting, but you definitely don't want your star player doing this. Something got to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something got to
Son
get.
got to get, man. And then, yo, man, Melo finally responds to Phil Jackson, man.
I like it. I like it. I'm glad you say this for last.
Yeah, I honestly, man, yeah, man, I was hyped that Melo spoke his piece. He made a lot of good points,
A
man.
lot of great
A lot
points.
of good points. It's like, first of all, Phil, you should have came and coached, you know? Then he's like, you want to throw Melo under the bus, and then you tell him Melo one thing, and then you throwing him under,
Putting
and
them in
it's
the
like,
hands and shit, like
yeah, then it's like, yo, like Melo said, they did not have the personnel for no triangle offense.
not didn't
You
didn't.
know what I'm saying? So, man, Melo, man, I like that he spoke his piece, man.
And he made an interesting point, right? He was like he coached from the box, right? Because he
Yeah,
felt like this team wasn't good enough to win a championship. Because you got to understand, when you look at Phil Jackson's resume, he came, won 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls, and he
yeah,
went right into another prototype of Mike, which was Kobe Bryant. Got him to
yeah,
buy into the triangle offense.
yep,
Even Melo alluded to, he was watching, Phil Jackson had him watching videos of Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? But Melo was not a Michael Jordan S type player. You can show that to Kobe, yeah, but
yeah,
Melo his game is not a game suited of like a Mike or a Kobe. And
yeah,
he plays a totally different position at that. He's a small
yeah,
forward slash power forward.
yes,
So that comes into play too. So it's like, when he says outdated, because it's like you have these star players. You had Shaq, Kobe, you had Mike, Pippen, right? You had
hmm
Melo and
nobody. Yeah,
nobody. The personnel wasn't there. You know what I'm
nah,
saying? Like he was
not at
like, you
all.
can't have Derrick Rose run a triangle. That's not his game. He said you can have a Calderon run a triangle. But because the triangle to me is geared upon one dominant scorer and other 4 people around them that does their job very well, that sticks to their job, right? And you trying to put a Stoudemire, J.R. Smith, you wake up, bro. You going to sleep?
Mm, my fault.
Let's go to sleep.
Yeah,
He was like,
yeah,
this is he was like,
yeah,
but we gonna cut it short. You gotta get some sleep. But yeah, I'm glad because Phil Jackson out here making money. He off the book, talking
yeah,
about Melo. So it's like, yo, okay, bro, enough is enough. You can't, enough is enough. This is why this team didn't excel. I did all I could. We tried the triangle offense or out. Even the guys in the locker room was like, yo, this shit ain't working. But Melo was like, yo, let's just try it out, guys. Let's just see. And what happened? What he said, they won 30 games.
yeah,
So it wasn't working. He was trying to force feed the triangle offense on him. This is you had two of our, and no, this is no slight to Melo, but you had two, one, the greatest two guard ever played the game, the second greatest two guard ever played the game, with
yeah,
one of the most dominant centers to ever play the game, one of the best rebounders to ever play the game, one of the best sidekicks to ever play the game that was in a triangle offense, and those times it worked because of those players. Melo didn't have that type of personnel, so
yeah,
that it was unfair to Melo to try to put this offense on him, and he didn't have the personnel like these guys had that you accustomed to that was doing it. You try to force feed him, and look what happened. You know what I'm saying? I think it kind of hurt Melo in his New York years. If you just let him play, like
yeah,
he said, just coach. Just coach. Don't just coach. If you would have just coached, they probably could have made some noise, because at the point, Knicks, it's not like they didn't have a good team. They just didn't have the personnel of a team to do the triangle. But they had a
yeah,
personnel of a team to try something else and win games. Because Stoudemire, when he was with Nash, heavy pick and roll, run those. That's what Stoudemire
yeah,
is good at. Run those pick and rolls with just Stoudemire. Let Melo do what he do. Y'all could have ran something good, but you just try to force this on the Knicks and Melo, and it didn't work. Point
And then
blank.
they traded away Shumpert and J.R. Smith.
And J.R. Smith, absolutely. Those are, and then look what happened. As soon as they traded, what happened? They win a chip.
Yeah.
Literally, go to LeBron and they win a chip. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Phil Jackson, he fucked that up. He fucked Melo's, Knicks tenure up a lot. It was Phil Jackson. But yeah, man, you know what it is, man. 2 Cents and Change the Podcast, episode 31. Moomy, Alay, you still in here? If you are still watching, Moomy, say yes, I'm still watching. Moomy, maybe she just got off because we're at 2 and then it went to 1. So I don't know if she's still in there or not. But thank you for watching, Moomy. Daddy and Uncle love you. If you're still watching, say yes. I don't think she's in there. Maybe she is in there. I don't know. But yeah, man, 2 Cents and Change your Podcast, man. It's your boy, Seal McClay.
It's your boy Melly Mel, man.
You know what it is, man. Episode 31.
Yes, sir. We out of
Get
here.
some sleep, bro.
Yeah, I am.
Good night.
All right.